Right, now having understood how an exchange rate is determined, the next question is understanding how an exchange rate can appreciate and how an exchange rate can depreciate. In my previous video, we looked at the price of pound, the pound exchange rate in dollars. I'm going to stick with that example here. So remember, an exchange rate, in this case the pound exchange rate, is determined via the forces of demand and supply. There is a market for a currency. And very simply, when demand and supply in the market change, then you can have a difference in price. The price can increase, the exchange rate can appreciate, or the exchange rate can depreciate. So I'm going to stick with the price of pounds in dollars, use that as the example, and I'm going to stick with quantity of pounds down below. We're looking at the pound exchange rate here. So let's say initially, a equilibrium P1Q1, £1 could buy $1.60. Let's say that was the initial equilibrium price. But for some reason, let's say demand for the pound has increased. Look at the diagram. When demand increases, when it shifts to the right, there is a new price, a higher price formed, which means the exchange rate has got stronger. The pound has got stronger. What does that mean? It means the pound can buy more of the dollar, more of another currency. So maybe now the pound can buy $1.80 instead. That means the pound has got stronger. So the next question is, why might demand for the pound increase? On a general level, it means that foreigners are demanding the pound. Foreigners are demanding this currency. And there are 5 main reasons why they might do that. 1, maybe there's been an increase in relative interest rates. That word relative is important because it means relative to the rest of the world. So in the UK, in this example, interest rates are higher than they are anywhere else in the world. If that's the case, the increase is higher than anywhere else, then foreigners are going to think, well, hang on a minute, maybe now the UK is the best place to put my money. The UK will give me a great rate of return on my savings. So if I put my money in UK banks and UK financial institutions, I'm going to get a very good rate of return. So they do that. And in doing so, they demand the pound. They swap their foreign currency for pounds. And that increases demand for the pound. Shifting it right, increasing the pound, appreciating it. Maybe speculators who are just traders who trade in the foreign exchange markets, if they anticipate a rise in the pound, they're going to think, well, quickly, move my money into pounds. Quickly, let it rise in value and then take it away so I can make a profit. So if they anticipate a rise in the pound, they're going to move their money into pounds, increasing the demand for the pound, causing it to appreciate in value. If there is an increase in foreign direct investment, basically foreign firms enter the UK and set up in the UK, they have to pay for factories in pounds, they have to pay their workers in pounds, they have to pay for machinery in pounds. Everything needs to be done in pounds. So that involves exchanging their currency that they hold for pounds, which increases the demand for the pound, causing it to increase in price, appreciate. The next 2 are all to do with the price of UK exports and the demand for UK exports. So number 4, if there is a rise in incomes abroad, it means now that foreigners might actually demand UK exports. They've got richer, it means they might want more stuff, some of that stuff might be produced in the UK, in which case they have to buy in pounds. They can't pay for UK goods in their own currency, they have to pay in pounds. So that involves them swapping their currency for pounds, increasing demand. And if UK goods, UK exports become very competitive, so if there is an increase in international competitiveness, maybe because of a fall in unit labour costs, a fall in inflation, a rise in investment, maybe a rise in productivity, all of which make UK exports more competitive, maybe that will increase the demand for UK exports. And therefore, as more exports are sold, people have to buy in pounds, that increases the demand for the pound. Right, so this market, we're looking at the demand and supply of the pound. So here, demand for the pound has increased for these 5 reasons, causing the currency to appreciate. But similarly, the pound can depreciate, or any currency can depreciate if supply shifts to the right. So, if a currency depreciates, maybe initially, in this case £1 could buy $1.60, but now because it's depreciated, £1 can only buy $1.40, maybe. So when a currency depreciates, it can buy less of another currency. So why might supply shift to the right? Well, when would people want to exchange their pounds for another currency? Because that's what it means if supply increases. People want to swap their pounds for a different currency, exchange their pounds. Well, if there has been a fall in interest rates, a fall in relative interest rates, now all of a sudden investors that currently have their money in UK banks are thinking, well, the UK is not so good anymore. It's not a great place for me to get a rate of return on my savings. So they move their money away from the UK. increasing the supply of the pound for another currency. That's just the opposite of this. That's just the opposite of an increase in FDI. So if firms that were originally operating in Britain decide to move away, then all the pounds that they hold are going to be swapped for another currency. And in doing so, that increases the supply of the pound. Similarly, number 4, if there are an increase in incomes abroad, an increase in incomes at home, domestically, if basically people in the UK get richer, they're going to demand more imports. And when we demand and buy more imports, we have to buy in another currency. So if we want to buy goods from the USA, we have to buy in dollars, which involves us exchanging the pound, selling the pound for dollars, and that increases supply. So all of these 4 factors here will increase supply, where the pound is exchanged for another currency, whereas these 5 red factors are where foreigners actually want the pound. They exchange their currency for the pound. They're desperate, they demand the pound, and that increases demand, and that causes the currency to appreciate, whereas when supply increases, it causes the currency to depreciate. I hope that now makes sense. You can understand why currencies change. This is very important to know, so learn these very well, and hopefully now you're a master of exchange rate changes. See you next time. Thank you very much.